There's no stopping The Simpsons.
Once you have enough episodes of any classic show, why do you need to keep making more?
Happening now.
A 10-year-old child is approached by a stranger in broad daylight. Now law enforcement want parents to be extra vigilant for Halloween. How to keep Halloween festive with some safety tips.
It was a cold start for San Antonio today, but that cold weather is going to continue throughout the next few days, especially getting closer to Halloween. The latest trick-or-treat forecast coming up.
Fewer than 1%. That's how many police killings lead to a conviction. But why? We asked the experts to break down that answer for us. The News at 5 starts now.
And we thank you for joining us. I am Ernie Zuniga.
And I'm Myra Arthur. We begin tonight with incorrect information in an arrest affidavit. That was at the center of today's testimony as the trial for 3 former San Antonio police officers accused of killing a woman, Melissa Perez, now wraps up its 14th day.
So the lead detective in the case, Ronald Soto, took the stand for the 4th day in a row. In Soto's arrest affidavit, he wrote that Perez was near the hallway of her apartment when officers shot her. But body camera video from one of the officers showed that she was walking toward the officers with a hammer at the time. During the defense questioning, Soto admitted that he was wrong about where she was when he wrote the arrest affidavit.
800 days to correct your mistaken opinion about where she was when Alfred used force.
I could have corrected the mistaken opinion of where she was, yes, sir.
And today, for the first time ever, you have seen that your belief was mistaken.
On her positioning, yes, sir.
Now, if found guilty, Eleazar Alejandro, Alfred Flores, and Nathaniel Villalobos all face up to life in prison. We are live streaming this trial. It will resume again tomorrow morning at 9:15, and you can watch it on all of our streaming platforms.
So as this trial continues and the state gets closer to resting its case, we wanted to find out how rare or common it may be for an on-duty police officer to be charged with murder, go to trial, and be convicted. Erica Hernandez went to an expert to find out.
It doesn't happen often, an officer on trial for murder, but right now, 2 of the 3 officers charged in the Melissa Perez case are facing that exact charge.
It's very uncommon. Roughly, let's say about 1,000 people are killed by police officers each year in the United States. And on average, around or fewer than 2% of those killings result in criminal charges, and fewer than 1% actually lead to convictions of those officers or for murder or manslaughter.
That's why this trial is so unusual. The reason St. Mary's law professor Sigrid Vendrell Polanco says comes down to high legal standard.
Prosecution has to prove that it was objectively reasonable actions by the police officer, and that no other officer would have acted in the exact same way. That's an extraordinarily high standard.
There is also a cultural factor, how jurors tend to view law enforcement, even in a time of growing public scrutiny after high-profile cases like George Floyd's murder. The numbers haven't changed much.
One would think that maybe jurors are leaning a different way now, but that's not actually been the case.
And while the debate continues over how to hold officers accountable, the professor says it comes down to a societal choice.
We as a society have to decide, are we going to allow police officers to go and carry out their community caretaking functions, even if they make mistakes here and there? Or are we not going to allow them to do that and, have a much higher conviction rate for police officers who act grossly negligent?
And as this case moves through court, it's a rare test of that balance, both for the justice system and the community watching.
That's correct.
Correct, sir.
Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
All right, let's turn to the weather now. Another fall day out there. We're holding on to that feeling, but the temperatures this morning, I had to do a double take.
Yeah. I know a lot of people did because it's October, it's finally fall. However, some people realize that once you get to the 30s and the 40s, it's really feeling like fall. And in fact, some areas today we're sitting below freezing. We have Lakey and Comfort sitting at 31 degrees this morning, and freezing is 32. And we already saw reports of frost being on the ground up in Fredericksburg, closer to Gillespie County. And in San Antonio, we were still sitting fairly cool, sitting in the 40s, as that was our low temperature this morning. But this was the coldest morning we've seen since April. That's over 200 days. Now, yes, there was summer that got in the way of it, so we weren't sitting as warm, or as cool, I should say. But even now, for our afternoon temperatures, 72 degrees as you're out and about in Kerrville, 72 in Santa Maria. Still, most of us sitting in the 70s for our peak temperature. These are the fall conditions everyone's been waiting for and watching for. Now, throughout the next few hours, temperatures will continue to be in the 70s and the 60s. But once the temperature, and really once the sun starts to set, the temperature will drop fairly quickly. I'll give you a sneak peek of how cool we'll get tonight, plus a Halloween forecast for tomorrow morning for trick-or-treaters in the afternoon coming up in just a bit.
All right, thank you, Shelby. A call for action to prevent another tragedy. Today, District 6 City Councilman Rick Galvan pushed for an immediate traffic study along Marbach Road. This comes after a John Jay High School student was hit and killed by a truck while crossing the road in a crosswalk. KSAT has been following this story since September when that student was hit. Councilman Galvan wants to activate school zone flashing lights during lunch hours, review street design, and identify safe walking routes. Galvan has requested the city work with Northside ISD on this. Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones has confirmed the city's Public Works Department will review safety along Marbach. Pride San Antonio wants the city to defend the rainbow crosswalks just north of downtown. In less than an hour now, a group plans to gather at the intersection of Main Avenue and Evergreen Street to celebrate those crosswalks and call on the city to stand by them. This comes after Governor Greg Abbott ordered all sidewalks, quote, conveying social, political, or ideological messages to be removed from roads. Earlier this month, the city of San Antonio said it had no plans to remove the rainbow crosswalks in the Pride Cultural Heritage District. The city said it planned to file an exemption to Abbott's order.
All right, well, let's go back outside and show you 410 at Blanco, and it is slow, especially on the access roads right there. It appears to be like not a lot of movement at all. But we don't have any indication that there's an accident here, just typical 5 o'clock slowing, but otherwise fine. So we'll keep an eye on it for you and have another traffic update in just a little bit.
Two sides at odds in Washington, D.C. have led to fears about food right here at home.
So as of this Saturday, the government shutdown will mean a halt on SNAP benefits, the program that provides food assistance to 3.5 million Texans. Katrina Weber was there as one member of Congress got a look at how a local food pantry is filling that gap.
So this is our food pantry.
Between serving community members, Patty Radel showed a Congress member how it all happens. Congressman Joaquin Castro got a firsthand look at inner city developments, a beacon of hope and help on the city's west side.
This is what the commodities look like.
Her small food pantry regularly fills the stomachs of people in need. Come November 1st, Radel expects the need will be even greater.
Very, very worried that they will have nothing within a few days.
She says her clients' minds these days are filled with fears of empty cupboards.
The consequences are beyond just hunger. You know, it's stress.
Due to the ongoing federal government shutdown, funding will run out for SNAP, the program that helps feed 3.5 million Texans. Radel says for now she's able to calm some of those fears by providing food, but she worries as the shutdown goes on, that may be more difficult to do.
Donald Trump and the Republicans have funding to keep SNAP benefits flowing, yet they're choosing not to.
During his visit, the Democrat pointed the finger at the other party. Republicans did the same in written statements. Senator John Cornyn says Democrats are taking food out of the mouths of children, while Congressman Tony Gonzalez says it's up to that party to end what could become the longest shutdown in history.
Well, this is not a record to be proud of for anyone. And so, again, I hope that all sides will get to the table.
If they don't soon, families' tables could go bare. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Some exciting news for library lovers. The San Antonio Public Library has just made over 800 new Spanish language ebooks available for children and teens. It's thanks to the digital library platform called MakeMake. The program provides a search tool that focuses on literature from Latin American authors. Make's digital resources include interactive books, picture books, comics, and more. So if you have a library card, you can now access that content for free from your tablet, your computer, or your smartphone. We have a heads up we want to make you aware of. The TV provider YouTube TV and our affiliate network ABC are in a contract dispute. They've told KSAT 12 that ABC programming will not be available on YouTube TV after 10:50 p.m. tonight. We wanted to let you know of this development between these two businesses.
So KSAT 12 does not have any say in this matter, to be clear. All of our newscasts will continue to be streamed on the KSAT Plus app, which is free. You can get that on your smart TV or mobile device. If you watch KSAT 12 on something other than YouTube TV, that will not be affected at all. This does not affect any clips or shows that KSAT 12 that you get from KSAT 12 on YouTube rather. Now it is possible that both ABC and YouTube could reach an agreement, and as soon as that happens, we'll be sure to let you know.
One man's battle to rebuild his home after the devastating July 4th floods took a turn today. Coming up, the unexpected lift he got from an area nonprofit.
Plus, a local community is on high alert after a man allegedly approached a young girl just days before Halloween. The warning officials have for trick-or-treaters coming up. Hi, coming up tonight on the 6 o'clock news, funding for revamped facilities on the east side for year-round rodeo-style events and a downtown Spurs arena. Props A and B on Bexar County ballots have been pushed as a pair, but how would it work if there was a split result next Tuesday on election night?
Plus, what's with all the restaurant closures? San Antonio's seen several businesses shut down recently. And today at 6, we find out what those restaurants have been dealing with and hear from advice from a local chef on how he keeps things running. That's today on the news at 6.
Well, a scare this week in Schertz has law enforcement urging parents to keep an extra close eye on their kids, especially with Halloween tomorrow.
Yeah, just yesterday, KSAT reported that a 10-year-old girl in Schertz was approached by a man that she didn't know. Bashada Pope explains what happened and shares what Schertz and San Antonio police say that all parents can do to prevent trick-or-treating dangers.
The Schertz police are investigating after they say a 10-year-old child was walking on Red Cedar Cove when a man she didn't know tried to convince her to walk with him. But the quick-thinking child went to a neighbor's house for help.
Schertz PD is calling the incident isolated, but back in September, there were 2 other similar incidents. Right now, investigators are not clear if these are related. But with the costumes and face painting of Halloween, they want parents to make sure they are hyper-vigilant with all safety tips.
Just plan your route. Stick to well-lit streets in familiar neighborhoods. Be visible. Carry flashlights, glow sticks, or add some type of reflective to the costumes.
Officer Anna Kraft with Schertz PD says, know what streets and neighborhoods you're going for trick-or-treating, so you know if there are sidewalks, street lights, or possibly homes that may have dogs. San Antonio police officer Emily Garvin adds staying in your own neighborhood can provide a sense of security.
I think we'd like to encourage, kids trick-or-treating wherever they do live by, so that way in case they do get lost, they are familiar with the locations and they can go ahead and head home.
Also, knowing beforehand where you're going can give you time to go to the DPS Sex Offenders Registry. You provide an address to start your search, and it provides public information on registered offenders in that area. Kraft and Garvin say the other safety tips are avoid homes that have the porch light off, walk on the sidewalks, don't eat the candy until it's inspected, and if you see something, say something. With that said, Kraft says there is a tip you may not have thought about.
We actually take pictures of our kids before we go out. 1, as memories. 2, so we can know this is what our kids will look like, and also to account for how many kids are in my group.
Kraft says this will help you see if someone, be it an adult or a child, has attached themselves to your group. Bashada Pope, KSAT 12 News.
Well, today, an area man's home on the floodplain is literally standing on new heights in Center Point. Mike Blackledge's house on the Guadalupe River was destroyed by the 4th of July floods, and he had not been able to get the permits needed to start the rebuilding process until his property had been raised above the floodplain. And so today, some good news finally. After a Center Point Foundation called Annie's Helping Hands raised more than $17,000 for Mike's home to be lifted another 3 feet.
I've had a tremendous amount of, of community support, and it's been overwhelming at times.
Now, the foundation hopes to raise more money to help more homeowners and flood victims in the Hill Country. To find the link to the nonprofit, just search for this story on KSAT.com. And of course, we're approaching the 4-month mark since that terrible day in July, and you can see some people are still working on the rebuilding process.
Just a reminder, there is still a lot of work happening in the Hill Country. All right, Shelby, we're taking a look outside. It's beautiful out there. It feels nice. I was thinking this morning, we go big or go home around here. Close to 90 degrees a couple days ago and close to freezing this morning.
I mean, just yesterday, I looked at some of our graphics, and there was about a 25 to 30 degree difference in just 24 hours from Tuesday to even yesterday. And I found this KSAT Connect picture. This is a KSAT Connect, although it may be hard to see, up in Canyon Lake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to point a few things out. Yes, we did see those northerly winds that did bring some of this cooler air and some of these cooler temperatures to us, but also take a look at that temperature right there. That was the temperature this morning in Canyon Lake. And for us in San Antonio, we got to about 41 degrees this morning. That was the official low temperature at the San Antonio airport. And this afternoon, we got to about 72 degrees. So that was just in the span of one day, which realizes there was a 31 degree difference in just today alone. And part of that is due to those clear skies we're seeing overnight that allows for that radiational cooling and really some temperatures in the morning sitting a little on the chillier side. And even take a look at the next 7 days. You're waking up tomorrow morning, still temperatures about 43 degrees, but over the rest of the week, throughout the weekend, even into next week, that's when we finally start to see the temperatures increase due to an area of high pressure. But really, most of us are going to maintain those clear skies, allowing for it to feel more like the fall and feel nice and cool in the mornings. Tomorrow morning, a little warmer than what we saw today, but just by a few degrees for some folks. 43 degrees in San Antonio tomorrow morning, 40 degrees tomorrow in Fredericksburg, where they had frost this morning. They were not under any sort of frost or freeze warnings, but they had frost this morning on the grass up there. 43 degrees in Rock Springs tomorrow morning, 39 depending on where you go, and 39 degrees down in Pleasanton. Now, the day everyone's been waiting for, Halloween is here tomorrow. Here's that trick-or-treat forecast. Our peak temperature is still in the mid-70s. However, as that sun starts to set, we're going to lose some of the heating that you get from the sun rays. So as that sun sets, our temperatures are going to quickly start to decrease to being in the mid to low 60s already by 8 and 9 p.m. And although it will be creepy cool, it will be scary, perfect, and frighteningly comfortable. Now here's the thing. Friday itself will be great for trick-or-treaters, but what we're watching is another weak cool front coming through as we go from Friday and into Saturday, but it won't really have too much of an impact for our temperatures in San Antonio. What it does have the possibility of is bringing some rain Saturday. It's going to be very spotty. Not everyone is going to see the chance of rain, but really Saturday afternoon is what we're watching for the rain chances. Only a 20% chance, so don't worry, you don't need to cancel any of your Saturday afternoon plans. Still seeing temperatures waking up in the 50s, peak temperatures throughout the rest of the 7 days in the mid to upper 70s. Plenty of sunshine before temperatures finally rebound, sadly, back to the 80-degree temperatures that San Antonio knows well next week.
All right, Shelby, thank you.
Okay, well, we could see a little Spurs history tonight, Larry.
Yeah, if the Spurs win, it will be their first 5-0 start to a season ever. That's really hard to believe with all the great teams that they have had. You know what? Tonight is another chance for the rookies, Harper and Bryant, to get some more NBA experience. And speaking of the Spurs, De'Aaron Fox, well, he passed out some sneakers yesterday. We got it coming up.
every game's a big game. Go in there with the same mindset, execute the game plan, and we just got to go out there and win.
Dylan Harper and the Spurs are trying to start a season 5-0 for the first time in franchise history on game day. The 4-0 San Antonio Spurs are home tonight to take on the 3-1 Miami Heat. The Spurs lead the NBA in point differential and 16.5 points per game. The Heat are third at 15.7. Now San Antonio's defense is facing a big challenge tonight because the Heat lead the NBA, averaging 131.5 points per contest. This game is also another chance for rookies Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant to get more experience. Here's Harper talking about Bryant this morning at shoot-around.
I think this every day getting better. Obviously, he's a menace on the defensive side. Offense, create his own shots, space the floor, help the team out. But I think me and him, we just got here, 2-3 months ago. So we just trying to learn and adapt.
The Spurs will host the Heat tonight at 7:30. Miami's leading scorer, Norman Powell, is out with a groin injury. Now, in case you missed it, late yesterday afternoon, Spurs point guard De'Aaron Fox surprised everyone by showing up at the Red McCombs Community Court and Hemisphere to hand out his brand of sneakers. The fans lined up and chanted "Go Spurs Go" while waiting to get their kicks. Fox, who has yet to play this season while coming back from an offseason hamstring injury, was more than happy to pass out his shoes and talk about the Spurs' early season success.
Absolutely, and obviously, I'm trying to get healthy, trying to get out there and help my team. But obviously, 4-0 right now, it's a great way to start the season. But we're going to have a battle-tested schedule coming up. So at the end of the day, you win the games that you're supposed to win. Sometimes you might get a game you're not supposed to win, but all in all, you go out there and you compete. I mean, you always want to have a great first impression for people, but we're just the same. We're just better than most people at basketball. That's the only difference. And just being able to do giveaways and stuff like this, it's something that I've always done every year for mostly. I mean, my birthday's around Christmas, and I absolutely love Christmas. So that's what we do. We do that every year around the holiday season. So.
I like that. We're just the same as you, but we're just better than most people
really
at basketball.
good at basketball.
And he has his own shoe.
Yes.
I mean, that's other than that. Yeah. Thank you, Larry.
We'll be right back.
Here is a look at what's coming up tonight on ABC Primetime. At 7 o'clock, it's 911 Nashville. Then at 9, Grey's Anatomy, followed by the Night Beat at 10. Shelby.
And just a quick update, and a lot of people have been following, Melissa is still a Category 2 hurricane, finally out of the Caribbean, but it is just to the southwest of Bermuda. It is expected to be on the north side of Bermuda in just about 24 hours, so there is some good news, and it will eventually weaken, not having any impact to the U.S. East Coast. Tomorrow morning, still waking up fairly chilly, 43 degrees, seeing those clear skies persist throughout most of the day. Peak temperature at about 77 degrees for us in San Antonio. Might be a little chilly for some folks, for the kiddos for Halloween. And then this weekend, we are falling back. Early Sunday morning, sunrise will go back to being before 6 p.m. I should say, starting on Sunday. So don't forget your smoke detectors, your ovens, your microwaves fall back Sunday morning, and to reset them. Temperatures otherwise stay in the 70s, finally getting back up to the 80s towards the end of next week, but we stay cool in the mornings.
All right, Shelby, thank you. And thank you for watching the News at 5.
World News is next.